The Bible Project is currently running a series where they examine the Sermon on the Mount from Matthew's Gospel. I've been a fan of the Bible Project for years, and this current series is no exception to the outstanding quality of their work. They have put out a request to a people submit their own song based on the Lord's Prayer. When I set out to memorize the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew from the Paris manuscript a few years ago, I was amazed that it was so easy to chant in Hebrew. There's a rhythmic quality to almost every statement. All 4 words of the first verse are 3 syllables, where the middle syllable is extra short. Then in the second verse, it's a 2-syllable word to a 4-syllable word, then a 2-syllable word to a 4-syllable word, then, as in heaven, and in earth. Each have a similar rhythm as well. As I've been listening to them talk about the Lord's Prayer, I've noticed a few tiny differences between the version I've memorized and what they're saying. I decided to check these differences against Luke, and sure enough the differences are cases where Matthew's translation from Hebrew to Greek tries to match what he had in Luke. This is called assimilation in the field of textual criticism. We can see that the Greek of Matthew assimilates to the Greek of Luke in a couple of spots. The first is where the Hebrew says simply, "Give us our necessary bread today." The Greek of Matthew goes out of its way to try to match what's in Luke, which is why the concept of giving daily bread today comes in. The translator was trying to match what Luke has, even though the Hebrew goes a slightly different direction. The second is where Hebrew asks that God deliver us from all evil. The Greek of both Luke and Matthew simply asks that God deliver us from the evil. The translator from Hebrew to Greek simply picked up the text from Luke and copied it here. Individually, these don't add up to much. When added to the other evidence I've gathered that Matthew was written in Hebrew, this is quite interesting to note, however. I'm thinking about recording myself chanting the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew for their submission. I'm a little embarrassed, though, because my pronunciation isn't all that great and Dr. Mackey is actually fluent in Hebrew. What do you think?